All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Monday afternoon with my man Hoop, talking some baseball. 9 games on tap, FanDuel, 9 games on DraftKings. Earlier start time than usual by a little bit, 6:40 Eastern on both sides, so don't forget that. Slate plan, I got it going up currently as we speak. Still, I mean, it's a tough slate. Hoop and I were talking a little prior. Couple pitchers, when I say that, like 2-3 pitchers max maybe that you feel comfortable about. Bats. Yeah, I mean, without too many good pitchers, we like some bat spots, but only a handful of totals, team totals above 5, no Coors Field. You did say, though, great day for tournaments, and I do think that's the case. Ownership spread out. How you doing today, Hoop? Happy to talk some baseball with you.
Yeah, excited to be here. I mean, we have such a deep bench for MLB that Hoopster doesn't get a chance to hop on the show and talk baseball. So excited to be here with our guy Nades out today, and yeah, baseball's fun for DFS. And I always talk about it. You know, we have the partnership going with Saber, and I think like the Saber optimizer, it's great for all the sports. There's no doubt about it. I mean, it's very helpful. Tons of people in our community have made life-changing money using Saber. I think it's by far the strongest for MLB. I mean, just so many different things you can do, and we'll go through it here on the show and kind of talk through it. Obviously, we're screen sharing right here, and we'll go through it all. But in terms of this slate specifically, it's kind of challenging. 2 pitchers at the top that are obvious plays, Wheeler and Sale. Then after that, it's just like a lot of, I don't know, nothing you feel super comfortable with. I mean, a couple of them, probably end up doing well, but who's it going to be? We'll see. Maybe you have a stronger opinion than I do. We'll talk through it all. And then on the bat side, usually when we have moderate to weak pitching, a lot of offenses stand out, and that's, I guess, not necessarily the case. I mean, there are definitely some spots, but not a ton. So I do think it's a very, very good slate for tournaments and people that like to play contrarian and anything like that. So excited to talk through it all with you here today.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. Got to say hi to people in chat, as always, before we get into the slate. I am Rice, Jason Turner, Ross K, Max Manning. Shout out to Max. Had a shipper last week, $2,500 in the MLB streets. Talked about Saber, you just did, Hoop. Max gave a big shout out to Saber Sim there. Awesome build. Kim, what's going on? Always in here. Appreciate the support. Lyle, Woody, Langley, Richie Smalls, Devin Davis, appreciate it. Mama, Juice, Brian, William, already said Devin. Put me in, coach. Got everybody? All we ask on these shows, like button, subscribe button. Helps us out a ton, bringing you free shows on this channel every single day. And this is not Nades. I don't know if Gang Green has TV off and listening on audio. I still don't think Hoop sounds like Nades, but yeah, Hoop in for Nades today. Good afternoon to you as well. Again, yeah, we had Max shouting out SaberSim. We are showing off SaberSim, our partner optimizer. DGen 75 is still going on right now. That'll change very shortly, though. If you do want $75 off for your first month, no better time to get in by any means. So you see this core package right here. These are all of our different SaberSim options. With the code DGen75, you get the core piece for SaberSim, usually $99, all of our content. SaberSim allows you to build 250 teams, see 150, and late swap. You also get the Discord as well. If you have not joined SHIPIT Nation, I think this is the best deal. I mean, again, how often are you getting an optimizer, all the content, projections, ownership, and a Discord community for $24? I said it back when I started. I would have loved for that as a little broke college kid, having to pay hundreds of dollars at multiple places to do it. Again, less than $1 a day if you want to give us a try. Get Optimizer with SaberSim, get the Discord, and get all of our content. If you do have already used that promo code, I do think the starter is probably the best. As you see, the best value, only $30 more. You can build 350 more teams with a SaberSim. You can also late swap, but the big thing, you get a second projection set, you get a second ownership set with SaberSim, and you get that thing called contest flashback right there. That allows you to go back into any of the tournaments you see. You saw Hoop ship 2 weeks ago. You see Rio ship. You can go back in. Hey, I'll show you right here for people that don't know. So contest, you click this, and then we'd have to go yesterday. So I guess I'll do that really quick. June 8th. See all these stuff right here. We'll go basketball. So contest, and then you click on which contest you want to see. So we'll go with that big one yesterday. I was already looking at this. So then you go users, little tutorial quick. And then you can I want to see people that own greater than equal to 85 lineups. I'll just say that again. It really doesn't matter that way. My sim ROI was not very good, but you can sort right here. And this is the column to look at how well you did post lock with all of the known knowledge. You see our guy like Hebrew Cheetah. So what did Rio did in his 150 teams? You can go right there, sort by exposure. You can see all of his captain exposure, all of his util. If you really want to dive in, go to leaderboard, like per lineup. You can see each and every single lineup, how much salary, score, the stack. I mean, there's so many different things you can do. So talking about like reverse engineering pros teams, seeing different contests. I mean, it's just, there's no better tool. I don't even think it's close. Sims, obviously, very good as well. If you're playing $1,000 plus, maybe check that out. But yeah, shout out to Saber Sim. Very happy with the partnership. And I do think if you have not already used the core is by far the best deal. $24, you can't beat it. If you have already used the DGen 75 for the first month, only $30 extra. I think alone, just seeing what Rio and Contest Flashback is worth it. Then add on top SaberSim's projections. Ownership, as you see, we're going to take the average like we do every single day. And that is a starter or an ultimate plan right here. You get that SaberSim, you can take the average from both. Hoop, anything you want to say before we talk some baseball?
Yeah, I mean, just an absolutely phenomenal product. You broke it down very well. And, the goal is always to create an all-encompassing DFS product. Like you said, where you don't have to get stuff from like 4 different spots to make it all work. Get content from one area, projections from another, and then an optimizer from another. Like that's how it used to be. We have it all together now, all in-house, most affordable price, which is to me, one of the most important aspects of it all. Like, we're not charging people an arm and a leg to get content. You get everything all together, the most affordable price. And like we've said on previous shows, me and Tambo have talked about on the golf show quite a bit. Obviously, this is the MLB show. If you are somewhere else and you want to try us out, just send us an email and we'll hook you up. I mean, just send over a receipt that you're currently somewhere else, and we will give you, I think, like up to a month for free just to try it all out and see if you like it. And that includes getting in our Discord community as well, which is massive. So really proud of what we built, and we're always adding on and improving, like I always say.
Absolutely. All right, it's time to talk some baseball. Actually, last thing, who else? Anyone else in here? YSN, what do you say? I'm new to MLB DFS, so making a good lineup. Do I need to focus on the specific team stack, or do I need to get the best hitters? Stack. 100%, yes, stack. And we talk about it a lot on this show. It's a 5-2-1. It's a 5-3. We're talking SaberSim. Like this was 5 players on one team, 3 on the other, 5 players on one team for 5-2, 2 from another, and then a one-off. It's the easiest. Baseball is such a hard sport in general. When a team scores 12, you need a lot less things to go right when you do stack a team that way.
It's the one sport where you can have a relatively significant advantage before the slate locks by just building your team properly, because there's going to that as well. It is going to be people, and the main reason behind that is going to be people that don't stack. And when you don't stack, you are at a disadvantage before the slate locks. So if you're going in and you're building your baseball teams properly, you have some, obviously a lot still needs to go your way. I'm not saying, all right, you're guaranteed to win if you just stack, but a lot of people are on most nights eliminated right out of the gate by not stacking. It changes a little bit with smaller slates, like 3-game slates, 4-game slates. I think you can introduce, some other stuff, but on these bigger slates, like if you stack, you put yourself in a much better position to win.
Absolutely. And we do talk about that a lot. More education video. If you haven't played some MLB, I definitely, any of the sports, if you are playing the DFS sports and haven't checked out the education courses, would definitely check that out. Like 2 hours talking all different kinds, tournaments, satellites, stacking is covered a lot in there. So that promo is only for new users. That is correct, Juice. That is only for new users. All right. So I said hi to everybody. We answered all the questions. Yep. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, if you're in a contest with Gangrene, you might want to unregister. I mean, that's got to be the nut combination on a Monday. Listening to our show while cutting the grass. You guys know I'm very fond of the yard work stuff. My man's getting the job done tonight.
There we go, Gangrene. All right, talking the slates. First thing, when we saw pitching, two guys stand out in the tier. I guess I'll say three in terms of pricing. Three pitchers above 8.5K. Zach Wheeler, Chris Sale, Nick Pivetta. Two of those three, as you can see when looking at the projection and the ownership difference, only two will be played. So if you want to pivot in the top tier, Nick Pivetta is clearly your guy. It's hard to speak right now. Yes, he's playing the Dodgers, though, rightfully so. Is his projection and ownership a lot less? Who's going to be the third highest owned? This man named Yusei Kikuchi. Many of you that have watched this show all year know my thoughts on Kikuchi. I pretty much always play him when he's on the slate because he has that big boy upside and he's usually cheap. I usually almost always stack against him because he usually gets ownership. He has walk problems. He can get hit around. So that's just and then, Luis Ortiz, Springs, Boyd. Like, it's going to be mainly these three. Sale, Wheeler, Kikuchi. There's enough cheap bats on the slate. Sale and Wheeler are not hard to pair by any means, but playing one of those two, almost everyone's going to do it in all their lineups, I think. Like 85% of lineups, 80% might have one of Sale or Wheeler at least. Do you have any thoughts on that? And then 8K and above, Dustin May, up to Zach Wheeler. What are you doing at pitching?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, you got two guys that obviously stand out far and above, higher than everyone else. And I mean, just like eye test everything. Like eye test historically how well they've been, and then you look at their projection, and it's much higher. I mean, if using our projections or Saberson's projections, it's like, you got Sale and then Wheeler, and then it's like a 4 to 5 fantasy point drop off just in projection. Like you said, we have enough guys on the slate. Bat wise, we're gonna have enough cheap bats to make it work. If you're playing cash games, I mean, I'm sure you're just gonna find a way to get Sale or Wheeler in there and move on. And that pairing is going to be popular, and at least one of them is going to be very popular. I agree. It's going to be a massive number, 80%, whatever it may be. After that, it's tough for me. I mean, so I'm always the type of person, and I know I haven't done a lot of these shows, but when pitching seems obvious and there's a clear route to go, I typically just go with it and then get different with the bat. So like, a prime example of this is if you are going to play Sale and Wheeler, but you still want to play some of these high-powered offenses, I would much rather just try to get different within those high-powered offenses. And the easiest way, again, I mean, MLB DFS is so fun because you can just do small little things to get yourself on a different path. And, so if you are going Sale or Wheeler, and I don't know who's going to be the top, probably Arizona is going to be very popular. Play 2 or 3 guys at the bottom of the Arizona lineup, and you're immediately on a different path than a lot of people going Wheeler, Sale, and then going to Arizona. There's so many different ways you can get different in baseball. That's why I just never really try to go out of my way to get cute at pitcher. Like if it looks good and everything lines up, like just don't fight against it. So I'm going to have a ton of Wheeler and Sale. After that, man, it's difficult. And, I don't know if you want to separate it by price or just kind of talk about all these guys, because to me, they're all pretty much the same and it really doesn't matter what their price tags are. I mean,
it's up to you. If you got easy X outs and you just want to, we usually like building the player pool. So I already have it sorted above 8. Like, I guess you just want to look at Sabersim, go bottom to top, and like, I'm not playing Wade Miley.
I took him out for sure. I got him out. I'm not really interested in Aaron Savelli or however you pronounce his name. Yep. We should say, though, there is one weather situation that doesn't look great, and that is Miami and Pittsburgh. So we might be able to whack out a couple more guys, Yuri Perez and Mike Burrows, who I would keep in if the game, we usually go off of what, Ross says over at RG. And right now he has it marked as orange.
Well, it's been tough. He's on vacation, so he has his friend meteorologist in there. So the updates are tough. Not that this guy's bad. It's just a lot less updates. Yeah. But I agree with you right now. Like seeing a solid orange, some of it's heavy could cause a delay or worse. Like he's going to update. But right now, if it stays this way, it's really hard to click either of those.
Hard,
either
yeah.
of those
And then
names.
it makes it a little easier, I guess, at pitcher. I mean, you're just whacking 2 more guys out, and you're kind of I like to narrow it down. I mean, I've been very clear. I love to get as narrow as I can at pitcher, but today that is difficult. And I'm doing, I don't know how many teams. I think I'm doing like 75 today teams on DK. I might honestly play Wheeler and Sale and then just leave a lot of these guys in and trust the power of Saber. I mean, I have no issue doing that when I don't have a strong lean on the rest of the slate. I mean, I talked about on the I had the good golf team a couple weeks ago, and I didn't have a lot of time to build my teams that week. There's a lot. It was the week that James passed away, and we had so much going on, and I wanted to play, and I was just like, I just don't have time to dig in. I just kind of just trusted our projections with Saber, and it all worked out. I might take that approach at pitcher today. Just play as much Wheeler and Sale as I can get, and then just whatever else gets into my teams, I'm good with. I really don't have a strong lead. If there was somebody after those two that I was going to actively pursue, for me, it would be Merrill Kelly, just because I've seen the upside this guy has, and it's a lot, and it's a little bit of a discount too. I mean, he's 8,500, and I think after those couple guys up top, he has the most upside. And we've seen he has a 31 fantasy point game. He has a 29 this year. He's got a 39. He's got a 34 in Atlanta last start. He's the third guy I would actively pursue on this slate. I think you can play Boyd. I think you can play Kikuchi like you talked about. It's a great talking point with Kikuchi, and he's been the same dude for years now. Like, he has the massive strikeout upside, and he has the massive blow up upside as well. And it's perfect for MLB DFS. You play him, and if you're building multiple teams, you stack against him. You got both sides of it because his range of outcomes is all over 35 fantasy points to negative, 12, because he'll get rocked, walking dudes, and give up home runs. Boyd's fine. I do struggle with Pavetta just because he's so close to Sale and Wheeler. I mean, 9,500, and you're only saving 1,000 to Sale, or 500 to Sale, and then 1,000 to Wheeler, and it's a really bad spot against the Dodgers. I'll keep him in there if I get some cool, but I'm not going to force it. Boyd, I'm fine with. Dustin May, Shane Baz, I'm fine with. I'm just going to keep a lot of these guys in and see what I get. And, it's easy for me because I'm making more teams. I'm not doing 150, I'm doing 75, but I have a lot of teams. Like, if you are building a limited number of teams, you probably have to kind of make that decision a little more for yourself if you are going outside of Wheeler and Sale. But, I mean, for me personally, like, if I was just building like 3 teams, I would probably go that combination on 2 of them, and then maybe go like a Sale Pavetta. I just wouldn't mess with many of those guys. Like, a lot of times at MLB DFS, you win the slate with offense opposed to pitching. It's very rare where a random pitcher is the difference maker and the guy you need to win. So that's just my mindset, how I think about it, how I build my teams. Again, if building limited numbers, I would just stick to that pairing today. Because, like, even if you want to get off that combination, like, you still have to get the cheap guy right or the other guy right. Like, it's not like you're automatically in a better spot because you faded him. You got to figure it out. And there's like 8 to 10 guys to me that are pretty damn similar. So I don't know, maybe you have a preference order for these dudes, but for me, Pavetta is the only one, not Pavetta, I'm sorry. Merrill Kelly is the only one out of those top 2 that I definitely want to make sure I get exposure to.
100%. Merrill Kelly, its favorite pitcher is Chris Sale, then Merrill Kelly for me.
Yeah.
Like, Wheeler's definitely fine, but someone just mentioned, like, any concern coming off the IL. Not really his concern there. I just really don't love picking on the Cubs. Wheeler's been so good. He's phenomenal this year. One of the best pitchers in baseball. Seeing the pitch count, again, 94 pitches roughly. That's not too much of a concern when I'm looking at, like, this slate. Sometimes you see pitchers projected for like 75.
And it wasn't an injury, right? Reinstated paternity, so he's out with having a kid. So it's like he wasn't injured. Like, it was only like one start. It looks like that he missed. So that's definitely not a concern for me. Yeah,
94 pitches projected. It's the matchup mainly. Chris Sale, like, give me the lefty against the Brewers against this Cubs lineup. PCA, Tucker, they got plenty of good lefties, even the righties at the top. And Pavetta, like, I just don't really love picking on the Dodgers. Sale Kelly is my favorite. If I wasn't going to go Sale or Wheeler, I think I would go Kelly, and then I'm going like a Kelly Boyd. I'll eat Kikuchi, Kelly chalk. Like Luis Ortiz is my favorite, probably lower price pitcher on the slate because you get some leverage, or he's the pivot off of Kikuchi, right in that same range. 200 less. Kikuchi is going to be higher owned, maybe even a bigger gap than we have this. And Ortiz has been solid. So I'm a big K-prop guy in baseball. I'm going to list all the ones that are 4.5 with juice on the over or better. Sale number 1, 7.5 minus 110 on the over. Wheeler, 6.5 minus 150 on the over. Then we got Kikuchi, 5.5 minus 135 on the over. Both Merrill Kelly or Ortiz is right there too. So Ortiz and Ortiz, Kikuchi have the same 5.5 minus 135 on the over, which is really big. Merrill Kelly has the same K prop, 5.5 minus 135 on the over. There's 1K difference right there. So that's interesting. Another 5.5 minus 130 on the over is Matthew Boyd. So as you can see, the projections are pretty similar. Ownership's pretty similar. Where Ortiz grades out, at least upside wise, very similar. Also should have run support too. I like the Guardians. I didn't even know Wade Miley's still pitching in 2025. So should have run support at home there as well. So I do like Luis Ortiz a lot. I think Springs is interesting the more teams you're making because the Angels are going to be played. And again, he's one of those guys. He's 6,800. Like Hoop's saying, trust Saberson, keep him in your pool. If you cross off everyone except everyone below Kikuchi, like, yeah, if you go Sale or Wheeler Kikuchi, you can spend up for most bats. But Springs, and then if you keep Springs in your pool, it allows you to get Saberson to unlock different things within like the spends up and offense. The Cubs, the Dodgers, that's why we said it earlier, 2 offenses many aren't playing today that are expensive. Most of the other ones are cheap, but you can always leave money on the table in terms of like bats wise. Don't upgrade a 5-man stack like your 5th Tampa Bay Ray. Don't upgrade it to Mike Trout. I'd rather leave the 1,500s away to get difference. Long story short, I don't love Springs, but Angels are going to get some ownership. They're worse against lefties. I think he's fine. Shane Baz, I don't love picking on Boston. He's been solid, though. If I had to cross someone off, he'd be probably one. Dustin May's pitched fine, but he rarely ever goes over like 95 pitches, even if he is pitching well. He's more of like a floor play for me. I do prefer him to Berrios if having to choose. So if I'm having to be honest, if I had to narrow it down even more, people wanted, my pool would probably look like that. I cross off Nick Pivetta too. If I was playing 10 or less, I just really, really like Sale. And I'd probably have like at least 60% Sale. Give me at least 30% Kelly. Give me at least 25% Ortiz. And then from there, kind of let Saber do its power. So I'm making some stands myself, and from there, I'm letting Saberson do its thing. So what are your thoughts, final thoughts to wrap up pitching this way?
Yeah, I think I'm definitely, I talked about Merrill Kelly. I think the next guy that I'm going to kind of prioritize, you kind of talked me into Ortiz a little bit more. I think it makes sense. The price is fair at 75. If you take out those weather games, I think we're pretty much on the same page. Like I struggle with like Dustin May and Shane Baz. Like I just don't know like how much upside that those guys kind of have. You look at a guy like Baz, it's probably more like 15 to 18 fantasy points that you're banking on. And I just don't love it there. In that range, I'd prefer the upside. I think Kikuchi has more upside, and I think Ortiz has more upside as well. So yeah, I think we're kind of aligned here. Like if I was going to make more cuts, it would definitely look something similar to what you have up there on the screen right now. But it is a tough pitching slate on DraftKings for sure. I mean, on FanDuel, it's probably a little easier because you're probably just playing one of those studs and feeling pretty good about it. But on DK, where you got to play 2, it definitely is a little bit tougher. And I do agree with you on the K-prop stuff. I mean, if you are new to all this and you just don't even know where to start at all in terms of, trying to narrow down your pitcher pool, I think that's one of the best ways to go about starting the process, because it's pretty accurate in terms of, they get strikeout. The easiest way to get fantasy points from a pitcher is them to go out there and strike dudes out. So it's a good starting point and definitely a good talking point as well.
Another thing I like to do a lot is our pitcher rankings. As you can see right here, all of this is incorporated on the stone. So this first game we pulled up, Luis Ortiz already number 3. That stands out a lot, but our pitching projections take K-props into consideration, the weather, platoon, like how does the Reds hit lefties? How do they hit righties? Home road splits, etc. So again, you do see that on the stone right here, rank number 3. Otherwise, you can just go MLB pitcher rankings. You got to be a premium member if you want to see all of them top to bottom. A hitter rankings, stack rankings. These tools are very big as well, and again, can all be found on the stone. So we're going to talk bats. Again, slate starts at 6:40 Eastern on both sites. One thing I also wanted to say, like, it's not very warm across the country as it's been recently. Like Shane Baz, the more I was like, man, it's 60 in Fenway, wind blowing in a little bit. But then I'm looking like it's 70 degrees in most spots in Anaheim and 60 degrees in San Diego. Brewers roof probably closed. 70 degrees in Philly, 70 degrees in Cleveland, 70 in Pitt. Like there's not great hitting weather, which also is why we're not seeing 5.8 run totals or team totals for most of these spots as well, even though they're not taking on the best pitching. So wanted to shout that out. We'll get into bats. Again, like button, subscribe button. Helps us out a ton. Very much appreciated. First game, Guardians Reds, 8.5 total, -168 favorites are the Guardians. Solid run total for the Guardians, not for the Reds. I'm in on the Guardians. Like I said, Wade Miley in 2025, I didn't even know was a thing. He got absolutely destroyed last time out. Oh, gosh. The problem with Wade, or it's not the problem. We're not going to see Wade Miley for 6 innings. Like I'm expecting 3 innings, probably a Wade Miley. He lets up a couple runs. Then you're going to get this bullpen behind. It's not a great bullpen. The Guardians are pretty cheap for the most part. They're getting some ownership, but relative to like how this slate is, like I do think the D-backs are higher owned. Some of the Angels might be higher owned. I think the Braves might get a little ownership. Toronto, people love clicking Toronto. I think moral of the story is it's all going to be like a jumbled mess where I just want to play the teams I want to play, and I want to pick on Wade Miley. And I'm good playing this team 1 through 9. Like Bo Naylor at the bottom, he's got some pop. That's fine. Angel Martinez at a second base position that's weak. You always talk about it. You always love playing bottom of the order. At least SaberSim loves it. You like it because you can eat chalk and people don't do it. So, yeah, I like Guardians. Don't love the Reds as much. What about you?
It's the best way, especially if you're hand building. I mean, if you're in like a single entry where you know everyone's kind of hand building their teams and they're going to stack a team, like what's going to naturally happen? They're just going to play the best hitters from that team, right? I mean, the easiest way to just immediately be different. And then at that point, you don't even really need to worry about ownership. Like, oh, this stack's going to be so popular. Well, if you're playing the guys that are not popular in that stack, it doesn't matter how popular the overall stack is. And just the easiest way to get different in MLB DFS. And that's for any stack. I mean, I think Arizona is probably the most popular today, so we'll talk about it. It's probably a little more applicable when we get to that team. But with Cleveland, they're in a very good spot. I mean, Wade Miley sucks, and I mean that's like one absolute sign that the team does not have any high hopes is to sign Wade Miley. It looks like they just signed him 5 days ago, and he went out and got absolutely rocked, and it probably happens again tonight. The one not area of concern, I guess, but one thing to keep an eye on will be like build teams yet. But if you go in, optimize and build some teams, it might be a lot of Sale, Wheeler with Cleveland because how cheap Cleveland is. I mean, super, super cheap. Obviously, Jose Ramirez is expensive. He's a stud, but Lane Thomas batting second for $3K. Their 4-hitter, David Fry, 3,100. Carlos Santana, 36. Arias, 32. A full basement price on Jonathan Rodriguez, 2K. Naylor, 2,900. And then Martinez, 35 at the bottom. So only a couple guys like over 4K in this lineup. But that's one thing to keep an eye on. Maybe they do end up getting a little popular because of these price tags. We'll see as we go on. Maybe there are cheap prices, on some of these other teams as well. But that's one thing to take note of. And then the Cincinnati Reds team, it's definitely difficult for me to get there. I mean, I like Ortiz. I like the Cleveland bullpen. Their lineup is not very appealing to me at all. Obviously, I do think I'll make sure I have some Elly De La Cruz. He's an absolute stud. Perfect, one-off sort of play or something. If you need a shortstop, if you're doing like a 5-man stack, 1-1-1, like he'd be great if you need a shortstop. But I'm with you. Love Cleveland. The only thing on Cincy is going to be Ali De La Cruz for me.
Yeah, Ellie's always a good one off the stolen base upside, the power upside. I like Luis Ortiz, which is rare on this pitching slate. I don't love many pitchers, so the pitchers I do, no way I'm going to stack against them with 10 or 20 teams or less. Now, Hoop's playing 75. He's not saying he won't have one red sack. Like, the more teams you build, the reason you're building so many is to get a portfolio. We talk about it a lot on this show. But if Hoop or I are building 3 teams, 5 teams, no chance the Reds are in it there. So go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, the first team he built was the 2 top arms, Sale, Wheeler, and then Cleveland stack. It's cheap. And it rates out pretty well. So it's just definitely one thing to take note of. I'm guessing you probably end up, if you're forcing in those 2 top pitchers, you probably end up getting a lot of Cleveland, but there's ways to go around it, like we've already talked about. So nothing to worry about. Not saying you got to fade Cleveland because they might get popular. That's not what I'm saying at all. Just, maybe be a little cautious.
Yeah. The thing also, too, and I think a lot of ownership eats, like just scrolling down a little bit and looking at some other teams, like the Braves are decently expensive. When people go to the bottom, like it's hard to play Wheeler that and stack 1 through 5 for sure. Unlike that, Blue Jays will get ownership though, completely free. Cards will get not much, but they're pretty cheap. Angels outside of 2 bats are free. They're going to get some. And then we have the D-backs, who again, 1 through 5 hard to get to. The bottom of the order pretty cheap. But like Hoop said, and now that we even look at other teams, they're cheap enough to 5-man stack any team with Sale Wheeler. But I do not love the idea 1 through 5 Guardians with those 2, because that's the difference with the Guardians. Bottom of the order and almost all the stuff's cheap. They only have like 2 bats up top in Quan and in Jose that are expensive. Everyone else is there. So like the Fries, the Lane Thomases, I probably wouldn't want to play more than 3, and then maybe even more than 2 of these guys. If I'm hand building, again, we're not looking through every single team Saber builds, but if I'm hand building and I go Wheeler, Sale, I'm probably in my head maxing 2 of 1 through 4, because that's where a lot of the ownership will go. So little stuff like that when you're hand building. And what tournament are you in? Are you in the 121 with 450 people? Are you in the $15 with 20,000 people? Are you in the 1,500 with 12 people? Like, then I'm playing if I like Guardians, I'm playing the Guardians, because people will do random stuff. So that's contest selection is big.
100%.
All right. Anything else to add in that one? Pirates, Marlins, 8 total, -119 favorites are the Pirates. Again, this is the one weather concern game. That's an orange. I will say Pirates were popping a little bit with SaberSim as a very sneaky, like, I don't believe this ownership by any means. I think we're hot on all these players. I think the Pirates are single digits, not only because of the weather. I just don't think people are getting to anything in this game. Yeah, you can double spend at pitching. You can get a really low-owned offense. The team totals aren't crazy. I would be fine with either side after seeing what SaberSim did in chalkier stuff if we get the green light from Ross Friend on Roto Grinders. Pirates would be my preferred. SaberSim liked it a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I assume you probably don't like it much. It's super, super low-owned, though, with chalk pitching.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of these games or teams, both teams, like, I'm not actively seeking out, but like if I go in and I build my teams, I end up with some Marlins or some Pirates, I'm good with it. Like, and the nice thing about playing offenses like this, you don't need to worry about how you stack it. You just play the best guys, and I agree with you. Like, right now we're showing those numbers on ownership. There'll be an adjustment made probably, within the next 30 to 40 minutes where those numbers come down, because there's no way they're going to get to that sort of ownership. And then you throw in the weather factor as well. People see that it's going to come down. So if we get the green light here and I, build my teams and I get some Miami and I get some Pittsburgh, I'm cool. I'm going to let it run. I'm not going to exit out. But if I am playing these teams, I want their best hitters. Like, I don't want the shitters in these lineups. I want their best hitters. They should be low owned. The full stack's going to be low owned. Just give it to me, and you don't have to worry about who you're playing at pitcher either with these teams.
Yep. All right, let's keep it rolling. Next game on the slate. 2 pitchers we like that are going to get some ownership: Zach Wheeler and Matthew Boyd. Phillies, Cubs, 7.5 total. -132 favorites are the Phillies. Direct leverage opportunities on both sides, but again, look at right here, pitcher rankings. Matthew Boyd number 2, Zach Wheeler number 4. Very low offenses or very low ownership on both offenses. I'll say if you're playing the Cubs, you prefer the lefties. That's what hit Wheeler harder. If you play the Phillies, you prefer the righties. That's what hits Boyd harder. Not much interest for me. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I probably don't get to really any. If I do get to it, I'd prefer just like one-offs or three-man stacks. Like if you think Wheeler has a bad night, like is it going to be bad enough to the point where you need the Cubs to be on the winner is the big question. I don't know if that answer is yes. So I'd be fine with the lefties. I would want Tucker, like you talked about. Definitely want PCA, Crow, Armstrong for sure. Absolute stud. You can play Hap, but it would definitely be the lefties and probably three-man stacks. And then on the Phillies side, I just don't love their lineup, man. I just look at it and I just don't. I don't know. I don't love it. Nothing gets me excited. Like I don't know. You can always play Schwarber.
He's
Turner.
Out of this world right now. It's lefty, which is tough, obviously. But
so maybe he's the guy. Should be low owned, but man, I don't love it, and I would not be doing five-mans on either side. It would be just one-offs or three-man stacks. I mean, probably Schwarber for sure on the Philly side. If I'm doing anything, I want to include him. 20 home runs on the season? I want that dude in there.
It reminds me a little bit about your shipper early in the year, the 50K early slate. You played 3 Cubs against Paul Skeens. The chalk Paul Skeens, you got the direct leverage, and you shouted out SaberSim in our projections. You never would have got there. But
I'm not hand building that team.
No, you went chalk KC though with. I think they weren't on that slate. Something tells me
it was Kansas City. No, they weren't chalk. It was the two best. It stacked. The team stacked against the 2 best pitchers on the slate. I can't remember who KC was going against, but it was Schemes. It was going against the Cubs, and then I cannot remember who it was, but it was a popular pitcher. And that's one of those situations where it's like I built my teams. I made 150 teams. I'm not going to take credit for saying, oh man, like I stacked against Paul Skeens. Like I'm not taking credit for that. It was our projections with SaberSim. I ended up on something like that and just let it run. And that's, again, the beauty of this tool with the projections where you can end up getting weird stuff. Tonight, sure. If I end up, like if I build my teams and run the contest sims and it likes, maybe a Cubs 5-man stack or a Phillies 5-man stack, I would let it roll. But I'd need a lot of teams to do it. If I'm doing 10, I'm not doing it. There's no way. If I'm hand building, I'm not doing it. But if I'm building a lot of teams like I am tonight and I get some of it, I'll just let it run. I'm not going to take credit for it either. I mean, a lot of these people I know would be, I did it. No. I know my lane, and it's not taking credit for stacking against the top pitchers on the slate. But if something comes in there and, on my teams when I build it out and, it makes sense, I'd run it
for sure. And like if I was hand building 2 or 3 Cubs as a mini, I'm playing like the 5 Guardians, and I'm not worried about the top of the order. You'll probably need some salary relief, so maybe I can go Kikuchi Sale. You eat 8 chalk pitching, you ate a higher owned 5-man stack, and then you just got completely different as your 3-man, as you see all at 1%. Like that's how you build MLB. Everything just ties into each other. So. And like Michael's saying, how many stands do I take at 3-max or 20? If I'm 3-maxing, like I already know what teams I want to stack. So I virtual hand build. Like I lock in like Chris Sale and Ortiz. Whatever I know I want to lock, I'll lock. Yeah. And then I'll just go from there. Like I know I want Yankees 5-mans. I'll just give me 100% Yankees 5-mans and I'll just go swift through there. 20 teams, I don't do as much because with the ultimate package, I can build 5,000. So I can just see. I don't need to do anything prior. If you have the core package, though, and you can only build 150 or 250, that's when I would start making the stuff like we did, Xing off pitchers you don't want, stacks, because then it narrows down and you can see what you want. So that's the answer I got there.
Yeah, agree.
All right.
Totally agree with you.
Let's keep it rolling. Next game, Boston Red Sox, Tampa Bay Rays, 8 total. Pretty much a straight pick 'em, -111 the Sox, -109 for the Rays. So Boz is getting a little ownership. Bello probably not much. Pretty cold in Fenway, 60 degrees, wind blowing in a little bit. But again, weather's not great across the country. Interesting spot. 2 pitchers I think we can attack. 2 offenses, I don't know, that are cheap enough at the bottom, a little pricey up top. Yeah, what are we doing, Hoop?
Yeah, I definitely like the spot for offense. I like both sides of it, and probably the Boston side a little bit more, I would say, because I think Baz does get ownership, and I really don't have a ton of interest in him as a pitcher. And I think he's going to get some tonight. So you create a little bit of a leverage situation for sure. And it's a team I'm fine going top to bottom with. I like the guys at the bottom. I think there's upside there. So I definitely like Boston more. I'll have more Boston. I don't think they're going to be all that highly owned. And you get a little bit of leverage off Baz, who is going to get some ownership. He's not going to be popular by any means, but people will play him. And then on the Tampa side, good with those guys. I mean, just looking at the lineup here. Yeah, I mean, even like this Meisner guy batting seventh. I mean, he's had some big games this year. 3,300 outfield should be like unowned. I think he's like
1-9 lineup.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think you're right. Now just looking at this, like I can play everyone. So it's two teams. I feel fine playing everyone. These pitchers will get a little bit of ownership. It's a ballpark where runs can be scored. Like you said, it is a little colder, but it's cold everywhere. Yeah, I'm definitely interested in this. Prefer the Boston side, but I'm very interested in Tampa Bay as well. And the nice thing about looking at Boston, I mean, from a roster construction standpoint, just looking at this team, they have a lot of guys you can play at multiple positions. Like you have Toro batting third at 3,300, first base or third. Mayer, second base or third. Got David Hamilton, second base or shortstop. So almost half their lineup, you can play them at multiple spots. So a lot of flexibility if you are going Boston. So Boston's definitely up there for me, top 5 for sure.
Yeah, I like about both teams, like you mentioned. Usually the infield positions, the catchers, the second base, some of the onesie positions are worse. Like in the outfield can be absolutely stacked. You can easily fill out. So what makes Tampa even lower owned, you got to get the first baseman right if you play one. But then second base with Lowe, third base with Caminero. If you want to play the bottom of the order, you can fill out a catcher position. Danny Jansen's fine as we know. Jose Caballero if you want to play a shortstop. And as you can see on Boston, so many infield positions to lock up right there. Only 2 you can even play in the outfield. That's something I always like to do as well when looking at the team. So, yeah, I'm not really playing too much Boz. I'm not playing Bello. At the end of the day, got to have some interest in the offense. Next game on the slate, Chris Sale and Aaron Savale, the Brewers and the Braves. 7.5 total, -161 favorites are the Braves. No way I'm playing the Brewers against Sale, but I am playing the Braves against Savale. I mean, this dude doesn't miss too many bats, gives up fly balls. Yeah, I mean, Matt Olson, Acuna, Riley, Baldwin. I mean, this is the lineup top to bottom that we always talk about. I don't think we have their lineup out yet, but like if Michael Harris is down here, anyone but Verdugo. I'll shout out my man Ham.
He's batting 8th.
Verdugo is?
Yeah. It's the same lineup. The same lineup we have projected there, but Verdugo's 8th.
Is Nick Allen in it? I was hoping.
Michael Harris is 6th. They're just in different spots, but it is all those guys.
Okay. Well, yeah. Nick Allen. So pretty much 1 through 7. If Verdugo's 8 and Nick Allen's 9, I won't say no to Nick Allen because he's so cheap and he can fill out shortstop. And like you've seen people win with 3 points. Oh, yeah. But I mean, this dude can't, as G Ride says, can't hit out a paper bag. And Verdugo, Ham has roasted this dude all year trying to give away a $121 ticket. So 1 through 7. And again, like people will like, oh, it's a righty and Savale. Let's play the lefties. It almost is like he's more reverse splits and struggles with righties even a little more. You can play Olsen too. But yeah, I like the Braves. One of my favorite stacks, guaranteed 9th inning at bats.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, it's like, we're at the point, especially now with Acuna back in the lineup, where it's like anytime Atlanta's into a decent to good to really good spot, I mean, you just got to play them on these bigger slates. I mean, they can just go off and score so many runs. There's so many different guys. Obviously guys like Nick Allen and Verdugo, like you talked about, not the most appealing. I mean, Nick Allen's 2,300 though at shortstop. So he's got to be a part of what you do if you're stacking Atlanta, but the other bats are obviously more appealing. Harris gets a nice lineup spot, batting 6th for 3,200. That's very good. You get the catcher Baldwin batting 2nd. Like it's a powerhouse lineup in a good spot on the road. You're guaranteed to get the 9th inning at bats. On the Milwaukee side, not actively looking to go against Sale. But one of those, if I got like, I don't know, Reese Hoskins in some teams or Chiro or Contreras, I'd be fine with it, but not actively trying to play Milwaukee here. Sale's been very, very good. But yeah, everyone on Atlanta, so many different guys in play where, it's easy to stack them. So very good team here.
Yes, sir. 1 through, I agree with, like I said, the Nick Allen stuff. Verdugo, I'm going to keep riding ham. Again, you're playing 80 teams. Like you're using Saberson. I don't go through each individual team and exit out. But if I'm playing 20 teams or less, I am making sure to unclick Alex Verdugo, thanks to the man ham. All right, keep it rolling. Next game on the slates, St. Louis Cardinals and the Toronto Blue Jays. 8.5 total, which is one of the highest on the slate, excuse me. Minus 126 favorites are the Cardinals. So the Cardinals are throwing out 5 lefties. Some of them are at the bottom of the order. When you attack Berrios, you do prefer attacking him with the left side of the plate. Palante on the other side, huge ground ball pitcher. Doesn't miss many bats. But Toronto's getting ownership. When we looked at the Pirates ownership, I think like when people see Vlad at 4.6K or Kirk, who's pretty cheap, or Bo Bichette leading off for 4-1, all this. Like I think these top of the order guys are getting ownership because of their pricing. Like they're just going to be higher owned than Pittsburgh. At the end of the day, I don't want to play any remote chalk Blue Jays, like when in terms of stacking, even if they weren't getting as much ownership. Again, a big ground ball lean for Palante. There's just other teams I'd rather, and that's including the Cardinals, who I believe will be a little lower owned on the other side. But again, they are cheap enough. You can play either team, Wheeler, Sale, and 5-man, the top of the orders, and it works. So people will do that on a slate like this. I guess naturally that makes me like it even a little less. So Cardinals my preferred side, the lefties if choosing. What are you doing in this game?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I think it does end up getting some ownership. People are going to like it. People are going to like the price points, but a similar game to me as Tampa Bay and Boston that both have like the 8.5 total. Like I just love Tampa Bay and Boston so much more than I like.
And it's harder to get them because of their prices. I think they'll probably be a little lower owned. The Devers, the Durans of the world,
because you got to make some sacrifices to play them. You don't really need to make any sacrifices to play these teams. I mean, like you said, Vlad Guerrero at probably the lowest price we've seen him at in a while. Like there's nothing stopping you from playing these guys with the top pitchers. I'll have some. Again, I'm going to spread it out way more than I typically do on this slate. Like there's no doubt about it, just because I think it's, the range of outcomes and the teams that could be on the winner, I think is very wide tonight. And you can say that about any MLB slate, but I really do think tonight that is the case. And I'll play it. I'll have some, but I really, in a similar game total like Tampa and Boston, I prefer that spot so much more. Don't like this ballpark. The prices are too cheap where people are just going to be able to play a ton of them. So I'm going to play it, but I don't love it, if that makes sense.
I agree with you. I have the same thoughts on it. Again, because I think it gets more ownership than we're showing with like very moderate team totals at best. And I think it's getting played because of the pricing and where they're batting in the order with it. It allows you to get pitchers, Sale and Wheeler, on a slate where pitching's really tough. So when it just all fits and you don't love it, like that's when I kind of want to get away. So I think your statement about Boston, Tampa being similar, and I just think that game has to be lower owned because of the pricing. I'll just embrace the lower owned nature right there. So Cardinals, like Nootbaar looks good. Donovan looks good. The lefties near the top, or the Stotts of the world, Scotts, Burleson. Like it'd be a 3-man wraparound or something like that, mainly focusing on the lefties for me. All right. Couple games left, 3 games left. Los Angeles Angels and Oakland, or I can't say Oakland Athletics anymore. They're not in Oakland. Sacramento, I guess. But Athletics and the Angels, 9 total in this one. Minus 144 favorites are the Angels. Yeah, I already said it. Like Kikuchi's going to be owned. Anytime that's the case, I'm stacking against him as well. Leverage, direct leverage off of one of the chalkiest pitchers. Doesn't break the bank. There's been days I like it more because I don't think like people are going to see the same thing, and I think attack Kikuchi a little bit. So I think they might be a little higher owned than some of these projected ownerships. Still, they're not going to be owned. Kikuchi's chalk. Angel side will be owned, though. I think a little higher owned than we have now. One of the highest team totals on the slate. Yeah, I guess how do the Angels rank among some of the other teams? Are you going to get direct leverage off of Kikuchi?
Yeah, I think we definitely both agree with the Kikuchi stuff. We're going to play them and stack against them. And, when you stack against them and play the Oakland bats, like, pretty clear who you want. I mean, you're going to want, like, Brent Rooker. You're going to want Soderstrom. You're going to want Jacob Wilson. You're going to want, like, their main guy, even Lawrence Butler. I mean, this guy's showing up for some big games this season. So I want the power bat against Kikuchi. Do need to see their lineup, though. I mean, they mix it up quite a bit, so we're going to have to see who is in the lineup, who's where. But I know for a fact I'm playing Oakland, and I feel pretty damn good about it. Angels, yeah, fine. Not thrilled. I mean, they probably end up being pretty popular or relatively cheap, like you talked about. I mean, Neto and Trout have real price tags, but nobody else in the lineup is going to have a real price tag. They're all going to be cheap. Fine with it. Don't love it. I think I probably like the Boston game. I mean, I kind of keep going back to that one, but I kind of like those teams better. And I think the Angels probably come in higher owned, but I'm going to play it again. But, it's probably out of my top 5 when it's all said and done in terms of my exposure on the slate. I kind of prefer the Oakland side more in terms of the bats, just because I know Kikuchi's going to get some ownership. But we need to see the Oakland lineup. It's, they put dudes all over the place, so I want to see that one. But, I mean, it's definitely a game for offense. I mean, I think 2 offenses that can get it done. And then, again, if you are playing Oakland, you got the built-in leverage because Kikuchi will be he's going to be out there, probably top 5 in ownership for pitchers for sure.
3 probably.
Yeah, he's going to be there. Yep.
Yeah, one of the better hitting weather on the slate, too. The best looks to be St. Louis and Toronto, 80 degrees, but this one's 70 degrees, wind blowing out a little bit. Already a fine hitter's park. So, yeah, I'm definitely with you on the A's. And there you go. Jacob Wilson is good at AF. Yeah. He's absolutely raking. Yeah, and people will not want to pay $5.1K for him. When they see other people, Jose Ramirez is a couple hundred more expensive, obviously different positions, but Chris say wanting to spend up at pitcher, you have to make a case to play Jacob Wilson, go out of your way to do it. And, I think that's interesting. I only expect Brent Rooker, who profiles really well against Kikuchi, no doubt about that. He's the only one I see that's going to get any bit of ownership for the A's. All right, 2 games left. Again, appreciate all 300 hanging out. Like button, subscribe button does help us out a ton. And if you do want to join us at the Nation, no better time, DGen75 gets you $75 off your first month, usually $99 for the Discord, for SaberSim, and for all of our content, as you see on the core package. Take 75 off 99, gets you $24. Again, DGen75 is the code for $75 off. We would love to have you. Another low-owned game, Los Angeles Dodgers and San Diego Padres, 8.5 total. -121 favorites are the Dodgers. Throw it to you right away. Again, do you have to spend up for these teams, especially on the Dodgers side, without the best run total? You're not getting too much leverage. People aren't really paying or playing Pivetta or May. Can you make a case for either side for bats?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always going to be in on the Dodgers offense. I mean, Ohtani for sure. Probably some bats. I'm going to play them. I'm not going to sit out the Dodgers because they're facing Pivetta in a shitty hitting environment. I'm going to play them. They should be pretty damn low owned. I just wanted to pull that up real quick. I can't imagine they're going to be getting anything. They're on the road. They're going to get all their at bats. I'll have some on the Padres side. Yeah, I don't know. There's not much I love. I know Machado's pretty damn hot right now, I want to say, right? So if you're someone that believes in hot streaks, Machado's on a nice little heater. He's got home run in 3 out of 4. Prior to that, he had some solid fantasy games. So if you believe in hot streaks, Manny Machado is your guy. Maybe a San Diego mini. You get Tatis, Machado, Jackson Merrill, something like that. Get a little bit of a 3-man in there, riding kind of the hot hand. The price isn't bad either. I mean, he's 4,600 for Machado and on this heater. So, 2 offenses is going to be low owned. I will get a little bit. I mean, it's one of those situations. If I'm hand building, probably not getting there. I'm building a lot of, maybe if I'm building 20, I'm probably not even getting there. But once I exceed 20, I'm probably getting there. And I am exceeding 20, so I'm probably going to get to something on both sides for sure. And it's tough to play these sides without getting the studs. Like if I'm playing the Dodgers, I'm definitely including Ohtani. If I'm playing the Padres, I'm definitely going to include Tatis and Machado. Like there's no need to get cute. Like they're low-owned offenses. Just get the best hitters.
I kind of like the Dodgers. If we're talking just how contrarian, like you have to already get at pitching.
Yeah.
Like you can go Merrill Kelly and Ortiz and 5-man the top of the Dodgers and do whatever else you really want from there. It's just on a slate. Like it's a really one of the harder slates I think I can remember talking in terms of only 2-3, pretty much 2 pitchers people want to play.
Yeah.
And bats. And there's no team total above like 5.6. It's pretty cold across the country, but a handful all in the same boat.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the Dodgers, they score 8 runs today, and that's what you need. And it's done with some homers. Like no one would be surprised. I don't love playing bats at Petco Park. Yeah. Nick Pivetta is one of the best pitchers on the slate, but it's just the nature of this slate at their ownership. I think you can make a case for.
Yep. Agree.
All right, last game of the slates, Arizona Diamondbacks and the Seattle Mariners, 9.5 total, -176 favorites are the D-backs. Emerson Hancock and Merrill Kelly on the mound. Emerson Hancock is no good. That is why you see this total for the D-backs. You see ownership. I mean, they're probably the highest on the slate if like having to pick one team. Again, I think a lot of teams eat into each other. If you like the D-backs, you can most definitely play the D-backs. I'll let you talk about Mariners as well. I mean, Cal Raleigh, talk about out of this world. Yeah. Kelly's going to get some ownership too, and I wouldn't even be surprised if he got a little steam. Like I don't think he's going to be 8%, like 18%, 23%. So I do think there's a little direct leverage opportunity on a very low-owned offense. I like Kelly, but I don't think Mariners are the worst idea. What do you have in mind?
Yeah, I mean, for Arizona, I think, they probably are the most expensive, but they're also probably, or I think the Diamondbacks are probably the highest owned, but they're also the most expensive when you look at it from top to bottom. I mean, they're leadoff guys 56, 5,500, 47, 44, 48. Like
we're gonna go Kikuchi and one a Sale Wheeler.
Say that again.
Kikuchi. Yeah. Or Ortiz or something there, and then one is Sale Wheeler. I think that's if you want to get different with D-backs, like avoiding just going mid-tier. I think that's the common. And Corbin Carroll is going to be the highest owned bat on the slate.
Yeah. The interesting part about this is if you do try to get the main bats here, if you do try to play the main Arizona bats, like you probably are out on that power pitching combination of Wheeler and Sale. It's just Wheeler and Sale. It's going to be hard to get that in there. So you do have to make sacrifices when you play Arizona. Maybe that keeps the ownership in check like a little bit because no one's going to be super comfortable getting off those top pitchers. I mean, you can comfortably play one of them, but you probably can't play two.
I went 1 through 5 with those two, and you're at 1,500 left.
Which so you're out. It doesn't work. Yeah, so you got to make sacrifices if you're playing the offense, and that's the hope that maybe that does keep this offense in check a little bit ownership-wise.
Yeah, I will say people are going to go to like a Gary Alec Tom, like they're just going to find one or two because if you go and you can easily do it,
then you're back in the game. You sneak in you sneak in a couple cheapies and you're right back in there. And you can make it all happen. So that's probably what most people do if they are stacking Arizona. I think I'm more in on Merrill Kelly than I am Seattle. But similar situation. If I'm playing Seattle, I'm getting Cal Raleigh in there. I mean, the dude has been phenomenal. $6K. I mean, I don't think many people are going to want to pay the $6K at catcher. Shouldn't be super popular by any means. But I definitely want to include him in anything that I would potentially do with Seattle. But yeah, Arizona is clearly in the best spot. This Hancock dude is not very good at all. Probably bad. So yeah, I'll be in on Arizona for sure. And then, if I do anything with Seattle, I definitely want, what do they call him? Big Dumper? Is that his nickname? Yeah. I definitely want Big Dumper in there.
Yeah. I mean, Hancock's real bad. I don't know if he's striking out you. I mean, this dude can't miss anything. He said no.
I'd lay down a bunt at least.
No, it's like 107 here right now. There's no chance that I don't think it. Yeah, I mean, look at this hoop. I know that was the last game of the slate, but if you want to see the weather,
jeez, man,
it's beautiful.
Yeah, that's the stuff I love. I love super
Yeah.
hot. I know a lot of people hate it. I love super hot temperatures, but being here in Michigan, and you don't get it all that often, unfortunately.
If you do, it's all humid. It's humidity.
It's very
You're
humid.
sitting,
Yep. July and August, and it's pure humidity, and you want to
sit
die
in
when
a
you walk
steam room.
outside. Yep, that's exactly what it is.
Any final thoughts for this one, Hoop? Again, I feel pretty much the same as I came into it. I think it's one of the better GPP. If I was one to put 5 teams in the $15 or like a 20 entry max, like that came out to be the same, or if I could 150 like a 25 cent or something, like I would opt for more. I'm not saying play more money on the slate, just play less money in the contest and run more teams is how I see this slate personally. So any final thoughts?
I'm with you. Yeah, I would definitely be looking, stay within the same means. Don't play for a shit ton more, but like if you have an opportunity to go down in stakes and enter more teams, that's 100% what I would do. The range of outcomes, it's always for baseball, the range of outcomes is wide, but this slate specifically, I mean, there's, I don't know, like 10 offenses. If they're on the winner, I would not be shocked at all. Like the pitching combinations, like if it's not Sale and Wheeler, it could be like anything, like any combination with those other dudes. Like it's just so many. So the range of outcomes is so wide. Again, it always is for baseball, but tonight I think especially so. So I want more teams for sure. And but it should be a fun one regardless. I mean, anytime there's not like something super, super obvious, like it makes for fun MLB DFS slates.
Absolutely. Again, DGen 75 is still up. Will not be up for much longer. Get you $75 your first month. Includes SaberSim. It's a SaberSim core package. Usually $99. Use the code DGen75. Takes you all the way down to $24 a month. Speaking of DGen, obviously always very miss. I'm wearing this hat. He likes the big numbers or the big letters. The SHIPIT hats. Wednesday, the celebration stream. U.S. Open. Big boy tournaments. Hoop and Tambo will be live, changing their usual golf time to the nights, 7 Eastern in the Lord's time zone. Everyone definitely check that out. People, if you knew DGen or wanted something to say, you guys are bringing people up on the stage as well. Big boy week for golf. MMA, it's still back this week. Had a couple good wins last week. MLB, of course. NBA playoffs, only a couple left, but showdown content. Shout out Rio. Shout out to BJ. Huge prize pools. Of course, PGA, NASCAR prizes are big as well. NHL, Stanley Cup. Next thing you know, NFL and college football will be back. Final thoughts, Hoop. And then actually, you're going to be – oh, I saw you yelling. You are very rarely on the show, so I'm going to have you send it off to the people, and I will click the outro.
All right. I'm gonna hit you with a home run call tonight. Someone asked for it, and I got to go. It's got to be something off the wall. And I don't even know how to pronounce the dude's first name, but it's going to be the guy on Boston, Rafaela, batting 8th. 3,500 outfield, just random dude. I think hits a bomb tonight. I think I just looked, he only has 6 on the year. So that's going to be the home run call of the slate. It's going to come through for us. I think Boston's the team tonight. I have a feeling Boston is the team. So I'm going to make sure to up my exposure to Boston. But yeah, it's been fun coming on here talking baseball. Like I said, we got a very, very strong MLB team, so I don't get the opportunity to hop on and chat with the crew baseball wise. But man, it's been fun. Looking forward to this slate. Make sure to tune into all the U.S. Open content we're going to be releasing here soon. So good luck to everyone in your contest. Let's get those SHIPIT Nation logos to the top.
Peace for title. Hoop. We're out of here. Good luck.